What is going on, everybody? My name is Kneeckoh and welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC Moveset video. Today we're going to be talking about a Pokemon that has returned to form, was very popular in Series 2 and is now making a comeback here in Series 3. That Pokemon is Great Tusk, as you can tell by the title. This Pokemon has been seeing a huge resurgence as of late, and for good reason. I think it's a really powerful Pokemon. It never stopped being very powerful, but with Palafin Balance running around at the start of the series, trying to work in the Ruin Pokemon, people weren't sure what, was going to be Great Tusk's place. But now that we've moved into a more weather-based, speed-based environment in the meta, I feel like Great Tusk has had a perfect opportunity to return and just start dominating the meta. So let's talk about Great Tusk today. If this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you are subbed for more videos like this in the future. Let's get into it. So very quickly, I just want to talk about some tournament results. I have Portland here. So as you can see, in Portland, we got Great Tusk 3 times in the top 8, and if we start scrolling, there's even more Great Tusk littered throughout the top 40 of these teams here. And it makes a lot of sense. It's just very powerful. You see Garchomp as being the other ground type user. Ground type's just very, very dominant in the format right now. It's a very strong typing. So being able to have something that can go out and put out as much damage as something like a Garchomp or something like a Great Tusk is very, very good. And now we have the results of Hartford, and while I don't have any Great Tusks here in top 8, we do have a fair number here in the top 40. You can see they're littered all over the place. And it's just such a strong Pokemon, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it also is one of the reasons Bundle has seen such a resurgence. Aside from Palafin, seeing Great Tusk make a comeback, Bundle plays incredibly well into that, because right now most of the Great Tusks are running something to like the Choice Scarf effect. Booster Energy Bundle still outspeeds that and is able to deal with that very effectively. So I definitely think that a Booster Energy Bundle is a solid counter to so many things right now, which puts it at a very positive position in the meta on top of like all the Palafin that was running around. So I definitely think that that Great Tusk is going to struggle against that in particular, and those two Pokemon kind of are synonymous with one another, because not only does Bundle counter it, but it can also help it with Icy Wind, allowing it to hit more targets more effectively. So I definitely think there is some synergy in those two Pokemon, and also some counterplay in those two Pokemon that results in them both being prevalent in a meta. So right now, this is really what you're seeing on Great Tusk. You're seeing a ton of Choice Scarf, obviously Photosynthesis with Headlong Rush, Close Combat, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. Now the Terra types can vary. It's either going to be Terra Ground, it's going to be Terra Steel, wherever that one is, or it's going to be Terra Fire. Those are the most prevalent right now for this particular Pokemon. Terra Fire, obviously you avoid the burns. Terra Steel, you avoid some of your weaknesses. Just a handful of things, and then obviously Terra Grounds just to get the extra stab to do big damage with your Earthquakes. Definitely a handful of different options that you could run with this particular Pokemon in terms of Terra typing, but this is pretty standard in terms of the moveset that you're going to be using. There is the option of a Life Orb set, which people have been running: Headlong Rush, Close Combat, Earthquake, and Protect. Sometimes you'll see like Ice Spinner rotated in instead of one of these moves, but this is mainly what you're seeing because Choice Scarf allows this Pokemon to just outspeed most threats in the format and just do incredible amounts of work. Now, I think one of the main reasons that this has become so prevalent is because as the series has moved on, Palafin was so dominant in Series 3 so far. I think more people are leaning into Sun teams to deal with Palafin more effectively. You saw Joseph Ugarte win with Jumpluff and Torkoal setting the Sun. That is such a strong combo, but Sun also is going to benefit things like Great Tusk by giving it that much more power. And it also puts it in a good place next to like something like Garchomp. If you're in your team builder and you're like, well, what do I bring? Obviously, Garchomp is built more defensively, and overall, I would argue has a better stat distribution than Great Tusk. However, the thing that makes Great Tusk so good in comparison is the access to Photosynthesis. Being able to play this in a Sun scenario and have it just be able to sweep teams because of its boosted attack power is just absolutely dominant. It is so powerful for that reason. So you have to weigh that option when you are team building. Am I going to run a Sun variant? Like if you're running Murkrow, it almost makes more sense to run a Great Tusk over a Garchomp. But if you're running Talonflame, you could go either way, right? So I definitely think that there are some huge options to weigh there. Both do very similar things right now. Like typically on Garchomp, you're seeing something like this. Rock Slide and then Stomping Tantrum. So they're filling very similar roles in the meta right now. but it just comes down to what you are trying to get out of your Pokemon. Are you trying to get the Sun Boost? Are you trying to do big damage? Or are you running more of like a Talonflame Tailwind team that is going to benefit more from having a little bulkier option? So in terms of Pokemon that don't like looking at Great Tusk right now, obviously things like Fluttermane that don't take a lot of physical damage very well don't like it. Chi-Yu doesn't like it very much. Bundle can struggle with it, but like I mentioned earlier, Bundle can be good into it because Bundle does, if it is a booster energy bundle, it just outspeeds you. So what you can do is just simply protect with Bundle one turn, bait out a Terra, see what they do. If they hit Headlong Rush or Close Combat into something, they've already lowered their defenses, and then you just rock them. You just rock them next turn with whatever super effective. It's just something that is very, very powerful into Great Tusk. Now, if you're not careful, Bundle can be hindered by Great Tusk because of Rock Slide being so prevalent on this Pokemon, or Close Combat. You can have issues playing into Great Tusk, but Bundle is one that kind of goes both ways. It can be countered, but it can also play very well into that. Dragonite is another that takes big damage from Great Tusk. You can either hit it with a Close Combat if it Terra Normals, you can hit it with Rock Slide if it Terra Flyings. Dragonite takes big hits from this Pokemon, so that is also something to note. Ting-Lu, really any of the Ruinous Pokemon take big damage from Great Tusk because of their dark typing. So Ting-Lu, Chien-Pao, Wo-Chien, which we're not seeing as much of. All of those Pokemon really struggle. Goldango, pretty much, if you see a Choice Scarf Great Tusk, you're forcing Goldango to use their Terra that turn, which puts them in a really awkward position. So definitely something to note there. Great Tusk plays pretty well into that as well. Now, there are a handful of Pokemon that can deal with this very well. Obviously, stuff like Chien-Pao, any Ice-type users, like Baxcalibur, does big damage into this, especially if this already has a defense boost from Headlong Rush or Close Combat. Baxcalibur with Priority Ice Shard is really, really big into this, so that is something you have to be aware of. Sometimes you're seeing Chi-Yu with Water Terra or Grass Terra. That can be problematic, especially if it's running Terra Blast, or really if it's just a defensive Terra in general and hits you with a Heat Wave. Maybe it's in the sun. Great Tusk special defense is so bad that like Chi-Yu really can take advantage of that and just rock it. Obviously, Fluttermane is something that you need to be aware of. Most of the time, Fluttermane has been running more defensive. However, I think with the spike in Great Tusk usage, that Fluttermane's going to start leaning more into speed again. It's going to go back to the way it was before, where we're trying to run more speed, so that way we're able to outspeed these big threats. Because like I said, Palafin has seen a decline. I still think Palafin is prevalent, but it is seeing a decline, and being able to outspeed threats that are a bigger problem right now, like a Great Tusk, is going to be that much more important. So I definitely foresee more booster energy speed bundles, not bundles, excuse me, flutters, so that way they can outspeed these big Great Tusk threats. Now, in terms of teammates that you like to see for a Great Tusk, it could be a handful of things. Talon Tusk is still very good. You can still run Talon Tusk, but like I said earlier, I think Murkrow is actually a better choice right now. Murkrow just fits a little better because you're able to go in with Prankster, you're able to Tailwind, but you're also able to set Sunny Day. And this is going to give your Great Tusk not only speed boost, but also photosynthesis boost, and that's going to allow you to do a lot of work. Also, Murkrow just is your Dondozo counter. You're able to set this out and just ignore Dondozo because of it, and I really like it for that reason. Like, Dondozo players have to be very cautious around Murkrow, which I think is super, super just nice to have in general. It also plays well into a lot of those more Howl-based teams that have been running around. You can shut Howl down. You can comfortably lead like a Gyarados or an Arcanine into a Kingambit and not have to worry about it. So I think there's a lot of reasons Murkrow is just super solid right now. And I think it just pairs very nicely on a Great Tusk team. You can throw like a Flutter on there. And then you're getting even more benefits. I've seen people throwing on their... why can I not think of Brute Bonnet? That's what I'm trying to think of. Brute Bonnet on these teams as well. So there's just a lot of things that are super nice with Sunset. So it's worth running a Murkrow or something to that effect with the Great Tusk. Another Pokemon, Iron Bundle, plays just incredibly well in this scenario. Bundle is just super, super good with booster energy and Icy Wind, being able to slow stuff down and allowing Great Tusk to do the damage that it does. Again, like I said, I think there's going to be a spike in booster energy Fluttermanes running around to outspeed this particular variant. So having a booster energy bundle with the ability to slow down a Fluttermane is going to allow Great Tusk to continue doing what Great Tusk does, right? So allows you to not have to waste your Terra, you know, to get away from stuff. It allows you to just do a lot of work with your Great Tusk. And allows Fluttermanes to just kind of be shut down that are going to be switching to that booster energy variant. And then obviously there are some other Pokemon. We've seen teams that have run this with like Corviknight and stuff. Just anything flying. So like Dragonite's really good as well. Gyarados could be solid. Anything with flying that can avoid earthquake damage is going to be beneficial for this. So that's why Murkrow or Talonflame is very good as your Tailwind setter to get that Tailwind up. You could even go with Roaring Moon as an option. Booster Energy Roaring Moon with Tailwind is another option. So there's a handful of things that are just going to be really solid next to this Pokemon and allow you to just start working through the opposing team. But for these reasons, I think Great Tusk has made a significant return to the meta and makes a lot of sense in terms of what we've been seeing. I definitely think that it's just going to continue to be a dominant force because Bundle has continued to be a dominant force, which just kind of nullifies a lot of the Palafin that you see running around. So I think because of that, that opens the door for a lot of these more squishy Pokemon that maybe wouldn't like dealing with a Jet Punch as much to make a return. So I think Great Tusk is good. I think it's great. I'm so glad it's back. It's one of my favorite new Pokemon that was added this generation. So I'm glad to see it make a return to form. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Great Tusk in the current format. And if at any point you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more daily competitive Pokemon content from me in the future. Also, be sure to check out the Discord where people over there hanging out playing Pokemon all the time. And if you're interested in seeing anything else from me, check out any of these videos here on screen. I do a bunch of VGC battles and stuff like that. So there's tons of videos for you guys to check out here on the channel. But until next time, peace.